So in this video, we are going to understand velocity analysis and NMO correction. NMO is actually stands for normal move out. So velocity analysis is actually is a very crucial part of the seismic data processing. So the aim of velocity analysis is to find the better velocity that flatten the reflection hyperbola, which is coming from the short gather data or from the response of the subsurface reflector, and which returns the best results when stacking is applied. Because when we have to apply the stacking of the multiple traces, if we don't have the better velocity from the NMO correction, then the stacking will not have the preservation of higher amplitude. So the velocity is always use the real RMS velocity. So therefore, distinction is made, so which is actually the stacking velocity is called the V stack, and the velocity that return best stacking results. So the another is the VRMS is actually the RMS velocity of the different layers. So let's say if we have the horizontal layer with the small offset, so the both velocities are similar when the reflectors are dipping, then stacking is not equal to the accurate velocity. So, but equal to the velocity that results in the similar reflection hyperbola. So that is the difference. So when we have the horizontal reflector, so then you have the stacking velocity is similar or the simple, but when you have the dipping reflector, then we have the different velocity of the subsurface layer. I will going to show some of the example of the velocity analysis in case of simple layer as well as the complex subsurface geology. So here is actually one of the workflow which we use for converting our seismic data from to determine the seismic velocity. So first of all, we have the velocity zone. So in here, we have to give the input of our data. Let's say it's in the short gather data. So this is actually the flow which we use in one of the software called Vista to do the velocity analysis. So when we have the short gather data, so from that short gather data, we try to get our semblance plot, the common offset stack, and the constant velocity stacks, which is actually the key of seismic velocity analysis or NMO correction. So over here, you can apply different gains like exponential T power, mean, or if you have some filtering techniques such as FK filter, deconvolution, or Henry filter. So that's when you can apply to get your mean data. So this all steps is actually to deconvolve is included in the pre-processing. So once the data is ready after the pre-processing, then you convert your data into offset domain, which is output of your offset stack, and from the offset you can get the semblance plot. So semblance plot is one of the input for velocity analysis, and the last one, which is the CVS, constant velocity stack. So that one also you can get to look at the better velocity picking. So let's understand more about the NMO concept. So the difference in the reflection travel time from the horizontal reflection and the surface due to the variation in the source and distance. So let me explain with this figure. So let's say you have one source here, which is in the form of hammer here in this case, but normally in size deep acquisition, we have the vibro size on the dynamite. So let's say you have the source here and you have the multiple receiver at here. So now when you hit your hammer here, then you will have the reflection. The waves goes inside and reflect from these reflectors and come back to the receivers. So when we plot the time, so the time is on the y-axis and x-axis you are in distance. So your travel time will be increasing like this one. So you will receive this trace in a short time, let's say 0.1 second, then 0.2 second, 0.3, or is so on. So like here we have explained. So this was actually your the zero time, which is start from here. So NMO is actually the shifting of your travel time or travel time curve to bring this position to here. So once your offset is increasing, I mean, I say how much is your far offset, then your NMO will be increasing as well. So for horizontal layer, so with the thickness h and the velocity, which is this example, and further the distance, the bigger the move out. So as I mentioned, the offset is increasing, then your move out will be increasing as well, like here. So you see the near offset, you have small NMO. As you're more going far away, then your NMO is increasing. So the difference between travel time at a given offset at a zero offset is called your NMO. So the velocity calculated from the hyperbola is known as the NMO velocity. So what actually we are doing, so we have the source here and we have the receiver here. This actually happening in the real case. But what we have to do, we have to bring our source and receiver here to bring, actually we are not bringing your source and receiver here, but we are bringing the time, I mean how much time it takes from here to here. So we bring all the time here. So let's say this is your hyperbolic curve. So let's say this is first receiver, you take this trace, then second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So now your hyperbolic curve is moving like this way. If you have the more offset, then it's going more down over here. So this is the NMO equation, which is t square is equal to t naught square, which is t naught is your zero time, plus x square, which is the distance, and divide by the velocity square. So that is the NMO equation. So now what we are doing in NMO correction, we are bringing all the traces at the zero time, so which is t naught. T naught is this one, and delta t is a difference in time. Let's say for this specific trace, so we have this, the tx is your total time, and delta t is your this time. So the change in this time is how much? So that can be calculated by tx. This is minus this one. So that one can be your hyperbolic normal move out curve. So same case, this is a very simple example in case of very horizontal reflectors in the subsurface, as we have done this example by hands-on. So you can see the hyperbolic move outs going like this one. So once this is before picking the velocity. So once we start picking the velocity, then you see your hyperbolic move out is becoming straighter. So this is your before and this is your after. This is, sorry, before and this is after. So you pick actually the velocity, which is the higher velocity and which is the best velocity to correct your hyperbolic move out. So this was a very simple example. Now we are moving to a complex example. So let's say this is one of another example. So here you can see in the semblance plot, you have the higher velocity like this one you have over here. So you don't know which trend you have to follow, either this trend or this trend. So now let's say we follow this trend. So this is the trend which we follow. So actually when you click on this semblance plot, you will have the velocity and the offset as well. So this is actually in case when we pick the velocity this direction. So you see your move out is very flattened. So over here. But when we pick this trend over here, then you see the hyperbolic is becoming hot hockey sticks, or it's moving toward the upside. So it's mean generally, so this velocity is better. But why we are picking this velocity? Because this is actually associated with the fault plane. So in this area must be there be some faulting or the complex structure. So because of that we have a different velocity. So this is one fault and this one is another part of the fault. So when we pick this direction, then your move out is not correct. And then when we will select this section, you will not have the, in the below part you will have the okay, and this part you will be fine stacking, but on the upper part you will have the move out on this side. And in this case, almost you have the better response. So this is another example, which is a simple case. So this is actually the NMO corrected velocity. So you see this is very straightforward. So when you pick the velocity, so this is before picking, then this is after picking. So there are some possible other ways to do the velocity analysis. So which is can be done in time distance domain, which is TX analysis, constant velocity panel, which is CVP, and CVS, which we are using in the previous figure, and analysis of velocity spectrum, so which is normally the semblance plot. For all method, we select the CMP gather to do the velocity analysis. So all and every velocity analysis mostly we done, actually we do in CMP gather, common midpoint gather. So there are some factors which actually influence the seismic velocity estimation. So the first factor is the depth of the reflector. So how deep is your reflector? Because you will have the convolution or deconvolution operators to be very strong. And the second factor is move out of the reflections. Then spread length. If you have a very big offset, obviously you have the big NMO effect, and you will be probably confused with the hyperbolic move out or the diffraction hyperbola. Then another factor which influences the velocity estimation is bandwidth of the data. So if you're using the low frequency or the high frequency, then it has a different effect on the velocity analysis. And also signal to noise ratio. If you have low signal to noise ratio, then probably you cannot pick the correct velocity. Then static correction is one of the factor, because if you have the low velocity here or the unconsolidated materials, because of that your velocity will be low in the upper region, then you will have the difficulty. So the static correction we are going to discuss in detail in the next lectures. And dip of the reflectors, if it is highly dipping, then you probably need the better understanding of the velocity analysis. And number of traces. So by the combination of CMP that lies close together, which is called the super gather, the accuracy is increased when the small number of traces per CMPs are available, which is low coverage. So it means if you have the very good fold data of your seismic, then you will have the better velocity analysis, because with respect to specific CMP, you have the more traces. Another thing which is called the velocity stretch. So let's say in NMO correction is also called the dynamic correction. So that means the value of the single trace are shifted with the different move out. So let's say in near place you have the shift less, but if you go far away, so like in this example, this is taken from the previous slide. So you see the move out becoming straighten here, but over there, which is the top part, the move out is more stretched. So in this way, that this section of your seismic data does not looks appropriate. So for that purpose, normally we apply the stretch mute, which is can be done by this this expression. So also in this case, so we have the 4 reflectors, like this first one, second, third one. So once we apply the actually in this figure, this is already applied the NMO. So it is the 50% stretch limit. So you see the 50% stretching, and this is 100% stretching of the data. This is another example. So when we have the input data, this like this one, when we do the NMO correction, so it's become like this one. So for this purpose, we have to apply some mute. So what we do, we have the stretch zone. So this stretch zone can be applied toward this stretch. So this data can be removed to have the better accuracy of the data. And once we do the stacking, then that will give the better results. So ultimate goal of the NMO correction is to make our hyperbolic move out straighten, and which helps us to have the stack of the data, the better stacking of the data. So let's say if you stack this data set, so you see you will have a lot of wiggles until here. But when you stack this data, you will have the higher amplitude. All the amplitude will stack here. So over here, you can have the first reflector, second, third, and fourth very clearly if you want to do the stacking. So there is another factor which is called the overcorrected or NMO or the undercorrected NMO. So let's say this is uncorrected gather. So this is proper velocity. When we pick the proper velocity in the semblance or any other method, then we have to straighten this reflection. But let's say if your velocity is low than the actual velocity, then you will have like this effect. It will go toward the high. So that is called the overcorrected. If you use the higher velocity bring it down. So that's why you will have the corrected your data. So here is another example, which is a very simple one. So this is before NMO, after NMO, then this is your stack. But if in case you use the lower velocity, which is actual velocity was 1700 meter per second, but you use the 1500 meters per second, when you do the stacking, so you will not have the better stacking of your data set. So you see there is one wiggle, one effect, second, third, and fourth. So you are confused which one is actually your reflectors. And also in case of the undercorrected, if you use 2000 meter per second, so then you also have not the proper reflection of the subsurface reflectors. So I hope you understand about the NMO and velocity analysis. Thank you so much and have a good day.